G'day everyone, my name's Cautious Pancake and today I want to build the longest horde base I can with a viable path for the zombies to follow. Starting off, you've probably guessed that we can't just go with a big long base like this and just stand at one end. The zombies won't run so far out of their way to find the start of the path and climb up. So instead, we need to look to the sky. Once you start building up, you can go with either block jumps or smooth climbing using stairs or ramps, or a mix of the two. The problem with block jumps is that using this technique the zombies will often stumble and fall, turning what is intended as a long path into something that is more akin to an AFK base, where the zombies are prevented from reaching the top in numbers due to their own clumsy jumping. We saw this in the structure used on the interior of my wizard tower build, where you can control the amount of combat by making the jumping section taller or shorter. The more jumps the zombies do, the more chances they have to stumble and fall, so the less zombies will make it to the top as it gets taller. Since that's not really what we want here, you could instead put platforms to catch the zombies, like this. But while this speeds up the zombies a little bit, they are still limited by the constant falling. So that leaves a smooth path of some sort. Sticking with the tower approach for now, I've built this similar floating path around a pillar design, but this time with a smooth path using plates. As you can see, it's pretty tall, not quite to the build ceiling, but tall enough. Now if we just turn on the Horde Night, we'll get zombies hopefully running up to the top of the tower without falling, and we can see how long that takes. Interesting little pause there. You can see that the zombie party girl stops once she hits that magic 11 block radius and goes into rage mode. Now that she's finally made it, it's just after 11, so it took 1 hour to climb this tower. Adding in a second tower now, joined at the top so that the zombies have to run all the way up and back down again, I'm expecting this should take 2 hours if things hold true. Well, we're on cue, just after 11 and we're at the top and taking a little shortcut at the top, but thankfully doesn't fall off. And here he is finally, nearly at the bottom just after 12, so holding true for about an hour per tower. Whoa, and there's Mo, showing that they can fall from the top sometimes. Right, time for 3 towers. This should get us halfway through Horde Night to just after 1 PM. Heading down the bottom, we should see the zombies starting to make their way up, but interestingly, this time they're not. And this is where we have exceeded the longest path that the zombies will take to find us. You can see the zombies gathering here around some arbitrary point that they think is the best way to get to us, but can't actually find a path to us. And if we turn on the debug window, we can see here that there's a message constantly spamming saying that the path is longer than 2048 nodes, which is longer than obviously the algorithm is allowing for the zombies to try and find the path to us. At 2048 nodes, with one node equaling, I'm assuming 1 block, and blocks being about 1 meter long, that's where we get the 6,000 foot paths. 2,000 meters is around about the 6,000 feet. So now it's trying to find where the 2048 block limit is on this 3rd tower. Starting here from about the 8th ramp up on the 3rd tower, you can see that the zombies still aren't particularly happy about coming up to see us. Still bundling up around there. But if instead we switch back over and try again, this time from the 7th ramp up. And you can see that from the 7th ramp, the zombies are more than happy to start running up the path. So we've obviously just tucked in under that 2048 node limit. And here we are finally. Looks like the zombies are going to make it to us at about 12:30. So 2.5 hours it looks like to do a 2,000 meter or 6,000 foot path from the beginning of a horde base all the way to us at the end. Well, I think it's now time to say thank you and goodbye to the 3 tower testing pillars. You have served your purpose and are no longer needed. May you rest in rubble. So now that we know the limit for a zombie's pathing, how can we use this? Having 3 giant towers is obviously not that useful, as they will eventually get to us anyway, so we need to combine the long path with some form of combat, so that even though the base we produce, the zombies will take half the Horde Night just running around a path that we specify, we've still got some way of whittling down their numbers and getting some XP from the Horde. To do that, let's start with a 10 block long path and zigzag it back and forth like this for 19 parallel lengths. This gives us a platform made up of 209 blocks. If we then put 9 of these on top of each other, we'll get a base with a path length of around 1881. We can then add a combat platform 11 blocks away from the zombie path opposite it, with a join across the top made up of blocks that the zombies will typically fall off. If you take the combat base any closer to the path, then you'll get within range of the 11 block limit, which will put the zombies into rage mode, and we don't want that, hence the fighting platform is always 11 blocks away. The remaining path length of around 150 blocks can then be used within the combat platform, so that when you're at the bottom, you are still just within the 2048 node path length. For this base, I've gone with no roof protection for vultures, as I'm not sure if they'll come in the top or through the windows, which could be an issue if we're looking down the scope a lot. I guess we'll find out soon enough. Alright, almost time for Horde Night. Taking a fairly basic early game Horde for this one. Level 49, day 49. Just got some basic skills in machine gun, no books or anything like that, and a very basic loadout with an AK and a pistol, and a few Molotovs, just in case the zombies group up on the path. Got 2,000 rounds of ammo, both weapons. Don't think we'll need anywhere near that much, but just in case. There we go. Oh, coming in straight from the other side. You can see here some of the zombies have already started to run over to me. Now that's probably because whilst we're standing at the bottom, depending on where they start, you may see the path is too long still. So I'll come up to the level 1 and that should sort that out. It's just a little bit long down in that bottom corner, depending on where the zombies start from. As you can see, they're all running along the path just fine. We can just sit here and rinse, depending on how much ammo you want to go through and how good a shot you are. Those that have watched my videos before know that it's not really a strength of mine, so we'll do my best. At least we got that guy. It is a very open base. You do have to worry about cop spit and vultures, but given the distance, it's not too bad. We should be able to avoid most of it. You'll be able to hear zombies above. I think they will just get trapped in the level above, and we should be able to just sit here and ignore that for a little while until the zombies get higher up and we need to move up. We just need to keep our eyes out for vultures at that point and not forget that they're there. Focusing on the cops a little bit. The others can run. As we know from the 3 tower approach, we've got about 2.5 hours before the zombies are going to get to the join at the top. So we've got plenty of time to shoot whichever zombies we feel like, to be honest. I've used the 3D truss for the pillars that hold the base up. The advantage of using those is that you can shoot through them. So if the zombies are running behind them, we can still shoot through those pillars. Hear that vulture above us. Let's head up. There he is. Take him out before we forget. We might leave the soldier and the skateboarder running around and at the front just to see how long they take to get to the top and see if it is the 2.5 hours that we're expecting, as well as just to make sure that the base is functioning and that they can continue on once they reach the top and that they fall down properly and loop again. Still a few levels to go. It's only just past 11, so we'll just keep taking out the occasional zombie but leaving these guys alone to run up the top. You can see that the intent of the zigzag platforms is so that when the zombies are running directly at us, it's probably the easiest time to shoot them. When they're running sideways across the platforms and you're looking down the base, it's a little harder to get the timing right and the headshots, or at least I find it so. So the in and out zigzags is intended to give you more time when they're running towards you to line up your shots. Obviously, if you wanted to maximize this, you could change the shape, and instead of going a 10 block width towards us and away from us, you could make that 20 or 30, as long as you stay within the reasonable limit of where you are. I'm not sure what the exact limit is for going out wide. That's something that we might have to look into in another video. If you do happen to know that limit, please jump in though in the comment section below. I'm sure that will be of interest to quite a number of people. Now, I don't know where the soldier's gone. He must have dropped off at some point. It's not designed for zombies to get confused and trip and fall, but it looks like that's happened anyway in this case. Just going to try and peek over the edge here. Yeah, they are still coming, so that's okay. We've just killed all the ones between the skateboarder and the next lot running up. Timing-wise, it looks like we're pretty much on target at 20 past midnight now, and a few more zigzags to go. Should be right on that 12:30 mark or thereabouts for the 2.5 hours it took that skateboarder to get from the beginning of Horde Night all the way up to the top. So it's potentially a little bit slower because we're not quite at that 20:48 limit, but close enough. And there he goes. I'm not going to be able to see him from up here, but he should have just hit the deck and then started running straight back up again because he's too far away to go into any sort of rage mode. So that's pretty much the base in a nutshell. From here, it's just a question of how much damage do you want to do to the zombies? How do you want to do it? Do you want to use rockets? Do you want to use explosive? Do you want to use Molotovs? All of them will work. Obviously, with the distance, it's something with the scope is ideal. It's a little bit hard to hit them with a pistol and the reflex sight, but otherwise, yeah, could use snipers, whatever you feel like. Okay, just coming up on the end of Horde Night now, 10 minutes to go. Still just having some fun with the Molotovs, especially when they're all grouped up. Just let loose with the AK as well. Oi! And they can get their own back when you're distracted by doing that as well. Ah dear. Now hide from that one, there we go. Take them out now. I'm not sure what just happened there. I feel like I fell through a platform. Anyway, that's the end of Horde Night. Now they obviously are all going to slow down now, which on a base of this size isn't that good for us. It will mean that the cleanup at the end of Horde Night can take a long time. Depends on how you want to approach it. If you stay here within the base, it's going to take a long time. You may even just want to jump out, let the zombies either walk back off or jump back off as they realise the path has changed, and then head back into the base to start them up so that they're a bit more clumped up. But that's kind of up to you. Well, there you have it then. The longest path possible for Horde Night turned into a combat Horde base. If you've enjoyed watching this video, please let the algorithm know by giving it a like, and if you'd like to see more Horde Base videos, then please subscribe and come back for the next one. As always, thanks for watching, and happy building. Ooh, and I almost forgot. You can see that if we jump out and run out within the 11 block limit, zombies that normally follow the path with no issues suddenly start turning around and smashing on the pillars. Just goes to reinforce that 11 block limit that I worked out in the Rage Mode video. If you haven't seen it, please go and check it out.